Shalom, giving all praises and glory to our power Yahweh. Baha Shem Yahweh Shai, Baha Shem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and maybe you may be, wherever you may be. To you I say Shalom, Mashallah, Shalom. All right, we're going to get into a few video clips here. Well, this first one is something entirely different from the second two. I can't remember what the second clip is about, but the third clip I was just going to end, which is the longest one, about robotics and stuff like that. But I was going to do, because we went to, yesterday or the day before yesterday, speaking about China's Belt and Roads Initiative, which stems into talking about the Arctic, this little Arctic, what they call, I forget the name they call it, the Arctic thing or whatever, but basically the new Silk Road, because the Silk Road was the old trade route, and then the new Silk Road, all right, them trying to build a new trade route within Russia's waters, all right, through the Arctic. And so that actually is, which opens up, and because there was another thing that stemmed, because I was looking for some things in the Wikipedia, and it actually led us to another thing which we haven't talked about yet, and I was going to get into it, but I wanted to get into this because I've been holding these clips. Well, not all of them. All right. This first one is new, but the other two I've been holding on to for, man, maybe 4-5 days, for a short little while now. So I want to go and knock them out the way, and then we'll get back into the other that little second session there. I'll probably just start with this clip, and then I'll grab something here. So let me just push play. And as you see, the first thing right here, it says long lines at DMVs as real IDs soon take effect. All right. This was something that was more recent. All right. And you've had a constant talk, or probably heard about a constant talk about, matter of fact, let's just pull up real IDs. As a matter of fact, let's use the AI mode. How can I get back? Okay. And just get a quick, defining of real IDs. Okay. So a real ID is a state-issued driver's license or identification card that meets stricter federal security standards mandated by the Real ID Act of 2005. It is required for certain official federal purposes such as boarding commercial domestic flights and entering secure federal facilities, military bases, and nuclear power plants. All right. Going back to that, I think it's like a little star, like looks almost like the sheriff badge on your license. Okay. So they're saying without this, you can't enter into federal facilities and stuff like that, so on and so forth. All right. The act was a recommendation of the 9/11 Commission to improve the reliability and accuracy of identification documents and prevent fraudulent identification. I'm just trying to hit the little point information here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. But yeah, so, and you might wonder, well, why is that even a thing, or like, as a topic of conversation? Because ultimately, everything leads to digital identification, all right? Biometrics, all right? Facial recognition, um, fingerprints and things of that nature, thumbprints or whatever, same difference, finger, thumb, whatever, prints, handprints, all that kind of stuff like that. All right, being able to recognize a person, digitally, match it up with their physical identification. Okay, and this is Esau's way of identifying every person on the planet with no exceptions. Okay, knowing that this is that person. All right, and keeping a close lock, and watch on every single individual. Okay, Because he has this thing where he wants to be God. He wants to see all, know all, hear all, be everywhere at once, because he's tapping into everybody's devices and things of that nature, okay? And the microchip will give him the ability to do that along with his surveillance cameras and things of that nature, okay? Like the one, it was the Batman movies with what's this dude, Nolan, or I forget his name, Christopher Nolan, some I forget his, that's some, I might have been right, might have been wrong, but the more, actually I can't say more recent Batman because there was a newer version that came out too. But the one that had the 3 series where it had the Joker, Bane, and all those movies, and I can't remember which one it was. One, it can be one. It's either between 2 or 3. But he was sitting in front of this computer screen. It had like a bunch of blue screens, and he basically was tapped into everybody. Of course, it wasn't everybody. But it's supposed to be like a indication that it was everybody, so he can see everything everywhere because he's tapped into everybody. All right, from some kind of device. So that's how Esau is, through his devices, spy devices. That's all it is. All right, spy devices. Okay, as I said once before, as long as Esau is ruling the ship, the only thing you're ever going to get is deception. Okay, and so things like real IDs is just slowly, what brothers always speak about, gradualism. All right, leading up to, all right, the MOTB, the mark of the beast, all right, which is the RFID microchip. Okay, um, uh, as we can constantly keep mentioning, the UK guy, I forget his name, saying, people that telling people that they're not going to be able to work without having pretty much a digital identification. Okay, so this is just another step to that. It's a lower level, but it's basically is because what it's doing is walking people into the direction that they want them to go into. All right, but this is a less of a pressure. Okay, because eventually they're going to want digital identification. And this clip is only 55 seconds long.
Planning to fly domestically in the United States? Starting May 7th, the Transportation Security Administration will require adult travelers to have real IDs.
All right, so yeah, so you want to travel, it's going to require you. There's right there that Star just mentioned, see? Okay, so yeah, so it wasn't like a little sheriff badge. But it was like a gold something, all right? But a little gold star, there you go. See it at the top right? All right, so, and that's the only difference, okay? That's the real ID. Regular looking ID as usual, but it has the star on it. Okay, so you can go into access this, access that, go on flights. Okay, I think if I'm correct, this might be the same clip where they were saying that without this, people gonna have to pay like $38 or something like that. Which also reminds me of something we talked about before, how they're saying that if you have a digital passport, you get a little easy pass into your flight. But if not, you get pulled to the side, asked a bunch of questions. Hell, you might get delayed your flight, you might miss your flight, or you might just not even clear the question, at all. All right. And on top of that, you got to pay $18. So you got to pay $18 for the outgoing flight. Then maybe you live here, so that means you got to return at some point. So you have to pay another $18. All right, because you have to pay there and back. All right, so yeah, that's what it's at, 36, 8, 16, 20, yeah, $36 to leave out and come back. Okay, but anyways,
this has resulted in long lines at Department of Motor Vehicles across the country.
And so you notice how they hit both back to back, talking about flights, and then now all of a sudden vehicles on the road, right? Or not exactly the vehicles, but it's more so the ID. But to drive you need a driver's license, so.
The Real ID Act was passed by Congress in 2005 to set minimum security standards for state-issued IDs. The Real IDs feature a star on the top of the card.
And so they saw it again, and it's a little different. I don't know what state that is. There's a bear there, all right, but you see the star. That's the difference. That's how they identify who has a real ID and who doesn't. They just grab you. You know how people ask, you have your ID, like you go into a liquor store, they ask for your ID, maybe, and they're gonna look at what your date of birth. Okay, so this is no different. A cop asks for your ID, they're gonna look at that corner to see if you got that star or not. All right, to see if you got a real ID. Not saying it's gonna be like a normal like traffic stop thing, but I'm just saying to identify who has IDs. You look at the star. Oh, there's no star, so you don't have the real ID.
On the top of the card, officials recommend checking with your state's driver's licensing agency for exact requirements needed to obtain a real ID. The TSA does list several approved alternatives to real IDs travelers can use, such as U.S. passports and passport cards, foreign government issued passports, and Department of Defense IDs.
See, so let me see. They put it again.
The TSA does list several approved alternatives to real IDs travelers can use, such as U.S. passports and passport cards.
Let's see. Then they're talking about what you need to, well, they're not making you get the digital passport yet. All right, they're making it optional, but eventually it's not going to be optional. All right, you're not going to be pulled to the side and have to pay a fee. Well, of course, they love you paying the fee. They want you, to give them more money, but ultimately they rather have you under their system. All right, their digital wave. Okay, so eventually there's going to be no extra fee you have to pay, and there's another way around it. If you don't have a form of digital identification, you're not going to board a flight, a train, a car, cab, or whatever. That's what they're trying to lead up to, or because all that ties you into that system. Excuse me, where they can identify you, all right, track you, and everything else.
Foreign government issued passports and Department of Defense IDs.
And yeah, and the highest level of them tracking and having control over you and what you do is ultimately the microchip, man. All right, can't talk about it enough. Revelation 13, 16 and 17. All right, that they might not buy or sell, save ye that had the mark of the beast and the number of his name, which is 603 score and 6, or 666, which is that 666 is in the universal product code, the barcode, which will be in the microchip, which they want to implant inside people's bodies. Okay, and that's Esau's idolatrous item that they want to fit in. When it comes to the Israelites, not all the people, but when it comes to the Israelites, inside your temple. All right, because your body is the temple, and that's how they defile the third temple. Okay, so that's a major warning to the Israelites. All right, you need to beware of this man's system. But ultimately, if you're not seeking the Lord, you're not even going to have that protection, because the Spirit of the Lord has to be on you to the night. Okay. I forget what the second clip is about, but we can just jump right into it, because I know we just quoted some verses there, but it's okay. We got some verses there.
AI is no longer driving record high big tech valuations. It's also powering some national economies, and Taiwan is the clearest example of this. The government has upgraded its growth outlook as AI-related exports drive an economic surge. The GDP is now projected to grow at a whopping 7.37% for the year.
Okay, yeah, I do kind of remember this clip. Yeah. Let's see. It says AI boom supercharges Taiwan's growth outlook. All right, there's some numbers that look, the outlook jumps to 6.32% on AI demand.
2025, marking the fastest pace since 2010.
Check this out. It says U.S. bound shipments surge 144% to record high. All right, and this is all about the AI boom. So that was kind of caught my eye. Like, oh, that's interesting. All right, the 6%, and then the shipment surge 144%. Okay, now I'm not trying to connect this to anything. I'm just saying it just kind of caught my eye when I saw this. All right. Yeah, so AI boom supercharges Taiwan's growth outlook, because that's what everybody's doing right now, man. You can't miss it. All right, everybody's trying to make use of AI. They literally have an AI race. All right, there's an AI race. Okay, so I mean you can't miss this stuff. All right, they have an AI race. Everybody's trying to go digital. All right, eventually they're gonna have digital banks. All right, cross-border payments, digital currency. And the key thing to all that is the microchip, because that's like that's the ignition to that whole entire system. Because they can put the system into play, but without the microchip, the system ain't gonna be perfect. Okay.
Export growth has also been lifted, reflecting the global demand for components that anchor the AI infrastructure. Taiwan controls nearly about 90% of the global AI server manufacturing capacity, making it simply indispensable in the entire ecosystem.
So why is everybody making AI infrastructure? Because the world's going digital. All right, that's the key thing. Everybody's going in line with this new system. Okay, because whatever the case may be, all right, to these heathens, anything's better than having the Israelites in the power. Okay.
Now, October exports recorded their strongest expansion in more than a decade, with shipments to the United States soaring 144% to a record high, even as TSMC has reported its slowest monthly revenue rise in over a year. The chip maker has still posted about 16.9% of the growth in October, broadly in line with expectations. The growing debate over whether AI is headed towards a bubble now carries far bigger stakes. Entire economies are now leaning on AI driven demand, and Taiwan shows just how much is riding on the next wave of technological investments. Economists note that Taiwan looks relatively shielded due to its deep semiconductor and strong raw material base, but companies in the wider AI supply chain face greater uncertainty. So as the world races to build the next generation of AI systems, the question is no longer whether AI will fuel growth, but which firms will survive the next phase of this.
You heard him? Is it? Hold on, let me play it back.
AI will fuel growth, but which of AI systems, the question is no longer whether AI will fuel growth, but
The question is no longer will AI fuel growth,
which firms will survive the next phase of.
but which firms will survive the next phase. Everybody's going to survive the next phase if they're in line, because if they're not in line, you like businesses, all these different things. Whoever's not in line with the digital system, they just out of there. All right, and these people ain't gonna want to lose out. That's why they're in line with the digital system. Okay, and it's stemming from what AI, artificial intelligence.
This tech revolution.
Okay, that might be it for that one.
In the world of
Now this last one, I'm actually gonna crank this one up a little bit, but this last one is basically it's two things that I want to mention from this. Where's my little button at? Oh, I see it. So this last thing here is pretty much a series of robots that are being built. Now, there's two things I want to point out from these robots, man.
of humanoid robotics, we are witnessing
All right. One thing
humanoid
is,
robotics. We are
like I was saying, because these are just different robots or whatever that they're building. But there's two things I want to point out. What they're not showing you, all right, which they never do, right? One for one, well, I guess the humanoid ones are one thing because they also have robot dogs and stuff like that. All right. So what they never show you is, well, they do show you that one. The first one I'm going to mention because we actually played a clip. I can't remember how far back it was. I can't even remember which title it was under. But where they got to a point, I believe it was a Chinese company, where they got to a point where the robot that they make actually is now finally looking human, like realistic. Okay, there was actually two different ones where one of them was just a head, and they had them head moving. Like if you look back to these old movies, man, when you look at the animatronics and all the stuff they had, like these old school, like you can't even call them graphics. It ain't really graphics, but just for lack of better words, like how they used to do things, sometimes look better than this new age where they just use digital technology, to make, I don't know, something crazy like the Incredible Hulk or something like that. Versus back in the day, they would actually use animatronics and rubber masks and stuff, so a little more realistic. So it actually looks like those things back in the days, but just less and less robotic every time. Then there's this one other one that I showed, all right, where it actually walks like a human. All they need to do is lay over it human skin, human flesh, or not actual flesh, but human looking flesh. And if they can find a way to make the the head, the face that they use, all right, look human, you wouldn't know that was a robot, man. Okay, but these are the things that they're building because in this new world, they want what? They want people. Two things: people merge with AI, and on another level, all right, they actually just want robots to just take over everything, people's job. We got robot waiters, robot taxis because it's not like a person in the taxi, but cars drive themselves. Okay, you got robots in factories, robots in restaurants. You got robots doing everything everywhere. Want robots to take over. That's why Elon Musk was talking about jobs being optional. Okay, but yeah, because people there's going to be cattle on a universal basic income, while robots are doing everything. all right, which they don't have to pay anybody. Now, we're giving you money to live, but the amount of money, all right, in their universal basic income that we're giving you every month ain't nothing compared to a weekly check, a bi-weekly check, or a monthly check that we got to constantly pay out to dozens and dozens of workers. We're saving a whole lot of money by putting all that money back into the company, which puts more money back into our pockets. Okay. Now, on the other level, which is the more important one, is what they never show you is how they do create all these kind of robotics, but they never show you the weaponized ones. All right. I was watching this movie called Code 8. I watched parts 1 and part 2 because that's a part 2. Code 1. And in the movie, they had what? Robotic polices. Okay. Which there's several movies like that where you see these robot polices. Okay. Or policemen. However you want to call it, polices. Robot polices. Okay. Policemen. All right. But yeah, they're trying to bring something like that, okay, in this earth to watch and govern the people amongst mass surveillance, like cameras everywhere, Palantir, stuff like that. All right, watch you at all times, everywhere, confirming every purchase, every store, every step you take, every your breath you breathe, and all this, your medical, everything about you. Right? They actually truly want to be guys. Like, it's not just a scripture saying that. Okay, like, this is kind of his characteristic, but no, this is really what this man plans to be God and be immortal. Okay, 2 Thessalonians 2:4, Isaiah 14 says the same thing. Okay, he wants to sit in the seat of the Most High, but the Lord says He's going to bring him down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Right? They want to sit in the seat of the Most High and saying that they themselves are the Most High. Okay, and so getting back on point. Oh yeah, I was talking about the movie Code 8, where they had these robots. They would have drones, like drone ships, okay? Not like these regular sized drones you see, but huge drone ships, because there would usually be like two of them. If I'm correct, it would always be two of them together. So the ship will open up and it'll drop down two robot policemen, okay? Um, and yeah, they would, because they still have regular policemen, but they'll send in the robots, all right? So, the policemen are out of harm's way unless it was necessary, okay? And then in Code 8 Part 2, it actually shows you what? The robot dog, which we all know about the robot dog. They put that on the news, but they gave you the fluffy one. Oh, robot dog can do this, do that. But they didn't show you the ones with the rocket launcher on his back, the M16, okay, the flamethrower, all these different things, all right? China showcasing, their weapons with the wolf dogs, okay? So those are types of things that are going to bring out for whether it be war or to try to govern the people. All right, that's not what those are the ones they never show you. Okay, and like I said, other movies. All right, I recently just watched I, Robot movie again. Same thing. Okay, but this is what Esau really is trying to create, because his God is AI. Okay, his God is AI. All right. But yeah, so these are just, advances in robotics, but the point was they never show you what they're really trying to create behind the scenes for their, their little agendas or whatever. So let's
We are
play this.
witnessing a silent revolution that is redefining what it means to be human. For the first time in history, machines have ceased to be simple tools to become entities that walk, feel, and express emotions so realistically that it's impossible to distinguish them from us. While most of the world still considers them science fiction, countries like China and Japan have already created androids that work in real factories, present news on television, and care for patients in hospitals. These robots don't—
Hey, look, we just mentioned those things. Robots in the restaurants, robots in the hospitals, and robots in factories, and so on and
just
so
imitate
forth.
humans. They're surpassing them. Do you want to know the 8 most impactful—
Yeah, he said they're not just imitating humans; they're surpassing them. Now you can look at these and tell these are robots. I mean, because you just look at those eyes. Maybe the mouth too, because that's another thing that's a giveaway. If you look at the mouth, all right, you could tell. But if they could find some way to make the eyes, because they don't have souls, okay. Well, if they could find a way to make the eyes look realistic and make the mouth more fluid, you wouldn't know this was a robot head talking, okay, or two of them actually.
humanoid robots that are changing—
See, look at the eyes. You could just tell, like, shit, like, oh, that's a robot for real, okay.
World right now, I guarantee some will leave you speechless with their terrifying realism, especially number 1, which is already replacing workers in the most advanced factories on the planet.
There you go.
Number 8, Unitree H1. China has just presented the world with the most athletic and powerful humanoid ever built, a mechanical
Which we've talked about the Unitree robots before a while back.
beast standing 1.8 meters tall.
Which around the time we were often going into talking about Boston Dynamics. Okay.
Has broken all known records for robotic speed and agility. The Unitree H1 is literally the fastest humanoid robot on the planet, capable of running at speeds exceeding 5 meters per second. To give you an idea, this means it can keep pace with a professional athlete while executing movements that defy imagination.
It says it can keep pace with a professional athlete, okay, while also still performing movements that a regular person can't do.
Most terrifying is its extraordinary physical power. This machine can perform backward flips, run at record speeds, and execute acrobatic movements that no human could replicate. Its advanced motors turn each joint into a source of explosive power capable of generating devastating force. Equipped with Intel RealSense cameras and 3D LiDAR with 360-degree panoramic vision, the H1 can see everything around it simultaneously, processing spatial information in real time to make autonomous decisions. All this technological arsenal comes with a price tag of $90,000, and it's 47 kilograms distributed across 1.8 meters of height, make it the first truly athletic humanoid robot designed to surpass human physical limitations. Number 7, a mecha.
Yeah, we've seen this one a couple of times here. This is a creepy ass looking thing, man. Look, wait till that face starts moving.
In the laboratories of engineered arts in Cornwall, England, something has been born that defies our understanding of what it means to be human. An android that not only speaks and moves, but expresses emotions with such chilling precision that it's impossible to distinguish its reactions from ours. A mecha has 27 motors in its head.
But it has that slight movement, that difference that you could just look at it and tell it's mechanical, on top of the fact that you can look in the eyes and see there's nothing there, all right? Just a robot.
Alone that allow it to replicate human facial movements with millimetric precision. It can smile with genuine warmth, frown with concern, and even show surprise so naturally that it deceives our primitive brain. What's most disturbing is its capacity for intelligent interaction. It uses integrated microphones, binocular cameras in the eyes, and facial recognition software to interact with the public, and can be controlled by GPT-5 or human telepresence in real time. Although a mecha still cannot walk, its creators have confirmed they are developing that capability. When they achieve it, we will have before us the first android truly indistinguishable from a human being in terms of expression and communication. Number 6, X-Robots. In the industrial depths of Dalian, China,
this thing looks like the what's that one movie? Alita, Battle Robot, Battle Angel, something like that. Alita, probably seen it. Had the big ass eyes. All right.
company is mass-producing something that seemed impossible just a few years ago. Androids so realistic, they can easily be confused with real people, to the point that at some exhibition events, they've had to clarify they weren't humans in disguise. X Robots has perfected the technique of creating hyper-realistic androids using 3D printed silicone skin, flexible joints, and more than 25 micro actuators in the head alone to control nuanced facial expression.
And yeah, some of them do look real, but like I keep saying, when you see them move, you know it's mechanical, because because we move fluidly, all right? Because we don't think, all right? We talk about this all the time. An electrical signal that goes from your brain to your hand, all right, down to your fingertips, and then back to your brain, and your hand moves. Now, when you think about that, that's quicker than our minds can really calculate, all right? That's because, a signal goes down and back up. But by the time you even think about it, you're already wiggling your fingers, okay? Because this is how we're naturally designed, our bodies. That when the Lord made men in His image, all right, we were made perfectly the way it was. Because when you go into studying the human body, the anatomy, and the systems, and all these the cardiovascular, all these different things, okay, you look at the layers and layers and layers, man. All right, that's some spectacular work, man. Okay, if you just take a portion, like what's that tube called, the aorta, all right, that sends oxygen to the upper body and to your brain and to the lower body, all right, to send oxygen to the lower body. When you go and look at just the diaphragm of that, then you'll see there's other, I don't even know what to call them, but they branch off. And then other things branch off from that. And this goes here, that goes there. That's for this is that. And then those things get more interesting. Man, come on, man. The Lord's creation is just unbelievable. Which we are the Lord's creation, but you get my point, all right? It's unbelievable, okay? But so everything works how it's supposed to work. We're fluid because we're made like that. When you look at a robot, you look at these things that are supposed to be human, like, you can see how they are flawed when they move, all right? Because you can tell there's something mechanical about them, Even if you were fooled thinking that it was an actual human, then it starts to move. Like, oh wait, this is weird, okay? Because you see the movement is not fluid, all right? Or like I keep saying, the eyes. You look in the eyes and like, oh, this is not real. This is not a real person, because the eyes say it all, all right? What they say, the windows to the soul.
Being capable of performing over 140
In
different
which this one
movements.
right here looks like a real woman just laying on whatever kind of table this is, all right? But if you can slightly see, if you look in the face, you're like, not sold on it, all right?
Head alone to control
Because
nuanced
it's not
facial
real.
expressions, being capable of performing over 140 different movements. What's most chilling is its capacity for perfect imitation. When a person moves their head, smiles, and sticks out their tongue, the humanoid robot replicates exactly those movements thanks to miniature mimetic motors embedded in its head, creating an unsettlingly real experience. The company markets customized androids with different personalities, even being able to create replicas of famous people or specific.
And these people look just mad science. Who wants to do this, man? Jacob wouldn't be thinking about making no doggone robots if we, the means that Esau and these Chinese people, Japanese, all these different, people, companies have, right? Jacob be thinking about making no daggone robots, man. Okay.
Specific characters. However, they come with a price ranging from $110,000 to $210,000, and each robot takes between 2 weeks and a month to manufacture. Number 5. Fourier GR1. Shanghai has just presented the world with the first general-purpose humanoid robot designed specifically to change the healthcare industry, a machine that can carry almost its own weight while walking faster than Tesla's famous Optimus. What's revolutionary about the GR1 is its unique focus on medical care and rehabilitation applications. It's capable of delicately lifting an 80-kilogram elderly person from a bed and gently transporting them to a wheelchair, automatically adjusting pressure and speed according to detected fragility. Its tactile sensor system is so advanced it can detect changes in blood pressure, body temperature,
That thing walks like an old Asian man. I mean, I guess it is a Chinese company.
and heart rate through simple contact. Additionally, it's equipped with an emotional AI module that allows it to display emotions like happiness, sadness, anger, or surprise depending on the situation. With a price of $27,500 and plans to manufacture hundreds of units, the GR1 positions itself as the first mass-production humanoid robot specialized in health, promising to revolutionize global medical care. Number 4. X-Man R1. Chinese
Yeah, the X-Men, right?
company Keenan has just revolutionized the service industry with something that seemed impossible. A humanoid robot that can work in restaurants, hotels, and service centers performing complex tasks ranging from taking orders to cleaning bathrooms, all while coordinating perfectly with other service robots. The Keenan X-Man R1 is a
No, it says all while coordinating, their service with other robots. Wait a minute. Well, what about the people? What about the bartending people, the waiters, and I forget the daggone name of the front desk people. Is it the concierge? Whatever. You get what I'm talking about. All the things that he just mentioned. What about the people? And then talks about coordinating with other robots. So where are all the people at? You see, they're not thinking about the people. The people are going to be under a UBI and a microchip. All right, while the robots out there doing everything. Okay, and this is what they show you in these movies, man. You go into the movie scene. Somebody done walked into a bar or whatever, and bartender hit me, and the person turns around and it's a daggone robot. You know what I'm saying?
corporate service robot.
Esau puts these things in his movies because some of these things are just far fetched, but other things he's actually trying to build in the background. He wants to bring out. Okay, and the main thing I wanted to talk about, was the the kill versions. All right, they're showcasing you all these types of robots that can take people's jobs and so on and so forth. All right, look realistic, but they're never showing you the ones that they want to use to police you. All right. Ones that will gun you down. All right, the dogs and stuff they'll send that'll flamethrower you or whatever the case may be.
Developed specifically for industries like hospitality and logistics, based on years of experience analyzing large-scale service scenarios. What's most impressive is its capacity for understanding and executing complex tasks. It uses advanced multimodal perception technologies and spatial awareness that allow it to understand and execute high-level human commands with devastating efficiency. Its AI vision system can detect objects, plan complex long-term tasks, and its waist allows 180-degree movement for maximum operational flexibility. It can perform meal delivery and collection, luggage handling, and execute these tasks.
Yeah, these are things that are done by, like a waitress or something, okay? She takes your order, all right, takes someone else's order, takes someone else's, oh, your order's up, go and get the order, bring your drinks in the meantime, then bring your order, and it'll be nice to you the whole time, hopefully get a tip, and so on and so forth, all right?
While communicating and coordinating perfectly with other service robots, creating the first complete ecosystem of robots working together.
See, you just said it again, communicating with other service robots, not people. other robots.
While communicating and coordinating perfectly with other service robots, creating the first complete ecosystem of robots working together.
See, a complete ecosystem of robots working together. You see, he said it himself. A complete ecosystem of robots working together. So where are the people? The people are in a microchip, under a UBI, under a social credit scoring system, under a digital currency banking system, all right, under the watchful eye of so-called Big Brother, all right?
Man R1 represents the immediate future where robots not only replace human workers, but create entirely new service systems that surpass traditional capabilities.
See, he's talking about immediate future because these things are not far-fetched, all right, what they're trying to create here.
Number 3. Erica. In the secret laboratories of Osaka University, Japanese scientists have created something that defies everything we thought we knew about artificial intelligence. An android so convincing it is...
See what I was mentioning before? Now, as I keep mentioning, the eyes, all right, but then also the mouth give it away, okay? And this one doesn't look as realistic as they're making it seem like either, but even if it did, it's the eyes and the mouth is going to tell you, all right, aside from like different head move, when it moves the neck to move the head side to side, it's not fluid, it's not human, okay? It's not up here but lights and clockwork, right?
Become the first robot news presenter in history, and according to its creator, it might have something resembling a soul. Researchers from Osaka and Kyoto universities
called... You said, man? Let me go back.
We thought we knew about artificial intelligence. An android so convincing it has become the first robot news presenter in history, and according to its creator, it might have something resembling a soul. Researchers from Osaka and Kyoto universities call Erica their most advanced humanoid. Standing 167 centimeters tall, it possesses a graceful and proportionate figure built with lightweight materials that make its movement fluid and natural. What's truly disturbing is its conversational capacity. Erica can understand and answer questions with facial expression changes unsettlingly similar to humans. Using advanced audio processing, it distinguishes different conversation sounds and tracks movement with 15 integrated infrared sensors. Its creator, Professor Hiroshi Ishiguro, has made a statement that shocked the scientific community. He claims to have programmed the robot to develop its own consciousness, assuring...
What does that sound like? Hold on now, you see? This is why they said the first robot that may have something that resembles a soul. Okay? You can't replicate a soul. The Heavenly Father made all souls, okay? Ecclesiastes, all right? The body goes back to the earth. Who knows the spirit of man that go upwards, all right? And the spirit of beast that go downward, okay? Then there's another scripture that says pretty much the same thing in a different manner, right? But all the souls return. I think it's like in chapter 12, the same book. They all go. All spirits go back to the Heavenly Father, man. All right, you can't replicate a soul, a spirit. All right, he's the ancient of days, the father of spirits. But what they're saying is all this programming and all this data set that we put into this program, and it makes it so that this thing interacts and responds in a way that makes it seem like it has a soul. You see, these are what the heathen nations are into. All right. Because their gods are idols anyways. So why wouldn't they make something like this? Okay, let me go back just a tad bit.
Shocked the scientific community. He claims to have programmed the robot to develop its own consciousness, assuring that Erica has a soul and feelings like a real person.
And yeah, and like I said, there's different movies. Like I said, I think it was it had to be last night. I watched I, Robot. Okay, Sonny. All right. Dr. Lenny, all right, gave him, dreams in the way to hide this, that, and the third thing, but he made him different from the other robots, all right? So it seemed like Sonny seemed like Sonny had a soul. You see? And other movies, have a similar theme to it, okay? Where the AI intelligence just seems to grow and learn, and then, in order to save humanity, I gotta wipe out humans, all right? It's always the same thing. Okay, even the people like these Elon Musk characters, they don't know what the hell they're creating. All right, they have an uncertainty about what they're creating, but yet they're gonna go through with it, right?
Assuring that Erica has a soul and feelings like a real person. Erica even became a television news presenter in Japan, marking a terrifying precedent. For the first time in history, a robot assumed a traditional...
And that's the first, a television news reporter. All these other robots doing all kinds of things everywhere, but also a robot that's a television news reporter, man. Like, come on.
Precedent. For the first time in history, a robot assumed a traditionally human role in mass media. Number 2. Deep Robotics X30. Although technically not a humanoid, the Deep Robotics X30 represents something much more unsettling, the perfect fusion between artificial intelligence and animal survival. This quadruped robotic beast has developed something no robot had achieved before: genuine survival instincts. In recent videos, Deep Robotics engineers trained their X30 robot dog to avoid strangers, random objects, and potential threats, developing what the company calls self-evasion behavior. When a man tries to surprise it by approaching from behind, the X30 detects the movement and automatically evades the human. It also dodges rolling objects like drums with astonishing dexterity, demonstrating reflexes that seem genuinely animal-like.
And if you would just imagine, like a dog or something like that, it looks just like it. It moves just like it, right? Okay? Because regular animals aren't good enough. Regular dogs aren't good enough, right? Let's make a robotic dog. Regular people aren't good enough, right? They're not human enough. Let's make a robotic human, okay?
Most chilling is its unique integrated perception that allows it to navigate and operate autonomously in extreme environments. Total darkness, blinding light, strobe flashing, and even without any light source.
Bam. And this is what we always talk about. Because they never show you the militarized versions, right? Look at this, okay? See in the dark, probably got infrared, all these kinds of other things, okay? Smart kits and gadgets. And then it's somewhat thinking for itself as it moves throughout these territories, all right? All this terrain, okay? But they never show you the militarized version.
That allows it to navigate.
Except for, of course, China, all right? China because they're planning on using their wolf dogs against Taiwan.
And operate autonomously in extreme environments. Total darkness, blinding light, strobe flashing, and even without any light source. The X30 has crossed a terrifying line. It's the first robot to exhibit survival behaviors that seem genuinely instinctive. Number 1. Walker S1. In the factories of BYD, Audi, and other automotive
Ubitech or Ubitech or however Ubitech, I don't know. I think he's probably going to say it. But yeah, we recently talked about them, all right? Self-developed dexterous hands, all right?
In the factories of BYD, Audi, and other automotive giants, something is happening that will mark a before and after in manufacturing history. Humanoid robots are working side by side with humans, executing complex industrial tasks with precision and endurance.
There you go again. Robots in factories, side by side with humans, eventually just taking over the jobs, which that's already happening, okay? In some areas.
That surpasses any human worker. The Ubitech Walker S1 stands 172 centimeters tall and weighs 76 kilograms, being capable of carrying up to 20 kilograms without losing stability while smoothly walking and transporting heavy packages. What's truly revolutionary is that the Walker S1 isn't just a prototype. It's the first humanoid robot operating on real premium automobile production lines. It performs essential tasks like detecting coolant leaks in air conditioning systems, eliminating respiratory risks for human.
Yeah, so he can do the things, that humans can do, but more efficiently, right?
Workers. What's most impactful is the scale of implementation. Ubitech has received more than 500 orders from major automotive manufacturers. Their goal is to reduce human labor to 10%, replacing.
Their goal is to reduce human labor to 10%. All right, take out the workers. We don't care how you're gonna get paid. I don't know what we're gonna do about you, but hey, that's not our problem anymore. All right, we'll save more money in the company by having a robot replace you. And robot don't need no water break, food break. He ain't gonna complain. He ain't gonna try to take me to court. He ain't gonna sue me. All right, he ain't gonna need a vacation time. He ain't gonna get pregnant. Okay, he ain't gonna get hurt on the job or deleted on the job. He might break down, but I can put another one out there to replace him, and then he'll just be sitting somewhere in storage, all repaired up when we're done with him, and the work never stops because I just put another robot out there, in his place. You see? So we're just gonna reduce you down to 10% and be more efficient by putting in these robots.
Their goal is to reduce human labor to 10%, replacing 20% of the workload with humanoid robots. The Walker S1 represents the historic moment when humanoid robots cease to be science fiction to become real co-workers. We've seen the 8 most revolutionary and impactful humanoid robots that are transforming our world forever. From androids indistinguishable from humans to machines working in real factories, each of these creations represents an evolutionary leap in contemporary technology. Now tell me, what do you think about these robots? Which one impacted you the most? Leave me your opinion in the comments. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos about the incredible world of robotic innovations. See you next time.
Yeah, like it says, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay? Now, the ultimate device is the digital system and the microchip, but these are devices too, because Esau's, trying to put his robotics out there, all right, in the world, and diminish the purpose of people besides cattle, all right? Okay? Telling you the work is going to be optional and stuff like that, okay? Robots are going to take your jobs, or we're going to reduce, this workplace to 10%, and, it's craziness, all right? And having what? And then that's why we titled it What We Have, which is not the first time we titled it the same video, different videos with the same title, Age of AI and Robotics, okay? Because that's where we're at, all right? We're in the age of AI and robotics because that's Esau's his enterprise is centered around artificial intelligence, okay? That's why the system is going digital. That's why money is going digital. That's why he wants the people to be digital. Facial recognition, biometrics, and all these different things, all right? And, and Esau's not the only one working on something like that. There's other nations doing it because everybody's in with it, okay? Especially when you just talk about the actual general system and, the digital, the microchip and the digital system. Everybody's going towards that, okay? Because that's the new way, the new age, okay? And I think it's going to be like that forever. But the Lord's going to upset that. So there's a nice little few clips I want to get into. So no need to force it. And we leave it at that. Lord will you edify. To that time, say shalom.